Hello, everyone. We're here. We're doing it. We're live. I'm live. I do have some friends looking to join very, very soon. They are picking up Starbucks, which is awesome. So I'm going to look to go share this around real quick. Let's get this out to the people. Give them what they want. Yeah. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. Always you have to give more exclamation points than you normally would. It's usually in the morning. Okay, done. Post. Hey, what's up, Dominic? Scuff Weekly, Spoot. How you guys doing? Appreciate you guys tuning in. No Tina. She is currently traveling to Cancun. She's going with her sister and her wife down for an amazing weekend. Kind of sucks because World's Week lands on our anniversary this year, and Emporia, Kansas isn't necessarily the best place to celebrate an anniversary. So we're going to make up for it later times. Simon's wedding is the following week after Worlds. We're going to spend some time up in Vermont, and I think this off season we're going to try and do some fun stuff. Maybe a Jack Brew, maybe do some Europe. Do some Europe in the fall. We'll see. Should be a lot of fun. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be really cool. Premiering immediately after this, though, which is awesome, is the Nate Sexton Is That Good? The Sexton Firebird. So that is one that you guys are going to want to stick around for. Nate is an amazing, amazing disc golfer and an amazing person. So you'll love to see it. Yeah. Everybody can hear me, right? Or am I just talking randomly? Thanks, Noah. Okay, we can be heard. Just needed to make sure because I wasn't getting any feedback on the mic levels. So I was like, yeah, well, I could have just said a bunch of really cool stuff and then nobody heard me. But yeah, Erika and Chandler will be joining. They're going to Starbucks, so it's going to be sweet. So how about the Des Moines Challenge? I mean, I don't want to do any spoilers, but I mean, FPO side, we saw some incredible performances, and on the men's side, up there with one of the best playoffs I think I've ever watched. Some really, really incredible putting, with also some really great driving. So very, very cool, very fun to watch. Good to see a new young kid break out on the scene and have such an amazing event. I've chatted with Robert just in passing, and there was something about how he was handling himself. He was like, "Yeah, I'm supposed to be here," type of thing, and that was wildly impressive, like incredibly impressive to see, and that's rare. It's pretty rare. And he's new to he's new to touring essentially, but he did not look new. He looked seasoned, and that is a very, very cool thing to see. So hats off to him coming out and showing up. Very, very cool. The guy throws far and putts well, so it's only making our sport better. We're seeing a lot more depth, and it's at the same time, it's getting increasingly harder to perform well and make things happen. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think that is overall very good for our sport. That the more I do think that the more money we do eventually bring in, the better. So when you do cash, it's not just like covering your entry fees or anything like that anymore. It's like when you do cash, you're getting money and you're getting your entry fee and some and more back as more money comes in. So cashing will start to become more prolific and things like that. So you won't need to cash at every single event because that cash can go farther because there's just more into it. Oh my gosh, they're here. What a save, dude. You're a hero. All right, we're live right now. If you guys want to come sit, there's a chair up in the back, and we got that. I'll go in the back. Just kidding. I don't need to be in the middle. All right. A synonym? A synonym? All right, here. We're figuring this out. We got to put musical chairs.
Hi, everybody. Hello. Hello, everybody.
If you sign that one, that should work. Friendship.
Hello, good morning. One's mine. Don't eat this.
I don't want yours. I want my butt. I want my butt one.
Oh yeah, it smells so good.
Yeah. Hello. Well, let's adjust that. We have the night. Lighting is spectacular.
Oh,
We're losing Chandler. All right. We were just talking. We were talking about Des Moines. We're talking about the playoff. We're talking about how crazy it is to see the scene get so deep, and how hard it is. You guys had a huge field in the FPO.
Yeah, we're hitting 50 consistently. I think it's crazy that what's Burge's first
Robert?
name? Who's ever heard of that guy? You know what I mean? And he's on, and I think there has to be some weather delay related stuff too. But Evan Smith too. I don't really
those two guys are young. They're in the same vein as Gain and Burr. You're they're so good, but they're this is the talent that the Paul Macbeths and the Rickies and the Simons and the Eagles, they bred that to happen.
Right.
Let's not forget that Robert Burge is a national champion.
Collegiate national champion.
So he does have experience with winning, but not necessarily playing against the likes of the greatest showman ever, Simon Watt.
Are you saying that they physically bred these children?
No.
It's like the boys.
No. It's the same concept of when you had the way I've always used it is Magic Johnson and Larry Bird helped Michael Jordan happen, and then Michael Jordan helped Kobe, and Kobe helped LeBron happen. You just saw this trend of we keep seeing this amazing talent after amazing talent, and you're like, how we have the GOAT right now, but what are we gonna have when he's gone?
What are you in that metaphor?
What am I?
Yeah, what NBA player are you?
I'm like a BJ Armstrong.
No, I don't know who that is.
I'm like a pretty good guy who's had some time.
What's Jackie Moon? Will Ferrell's character?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's you.
That's me.
Jesus Christ. Jackie Moon.
Speaking of
Jackie Moon.
Sup? Great finish at Des Moines.
Oh yeah, look, I can play disc golf.
5th place. Huge finish.
I'm experiencing a lot of what you're just talking about, and the field got so good so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Not just new players, but players that have been on tour for a year or two. You literally have to average 940 plus just to cash, and that number used to be 920. You know,
you have to average 10-10 to cash and.
Yeah. So literally, you have to
didn't
play.
Cash at Deco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to play 2 to even 5 strokes better per round than you used to. It used to be you had 1-5 over, and it was you're okay. You can still cash. And now it's no.
You will not cash.
You cannot do that.
I remember in 2019, Beaver State Fling, it had like the highest rated field ever at 1016 or something like that.
Yeah.
And now you have to average that to even make the cash line.
To even make the cash line.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
It's also, I think it's a great thing.
It's cool.
We have to work harder though.
I definitely like got to me mentally all year, like not cashing. Like, oh man, I'm not doing it. So therefore I'm bad. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like I believe that I was not good at this.
Your identity is not related to how you play.
Yeah.
So
also, you know what's crazy? I didn't even throw far. That was like the least stressful golf I've ever played. I just like put it in the middle and took my pars and got a couple of birdies. Like that's what you're supposed to do, you know? Yeah. But no one does it. Everyone's like, I'm gonna fucking go for this one.
I gotta go for it.
I never had to far. I just threw out of bounds.
That's what I'm saying. I threw like average 280 the whole weekend.
Yeah. There's that level of disc golf where sometimes it seems so easy.
Yeah.
And it can. And then there's the days where you're like, I don't feel bad, but I don't understand why my disc isn't going where it is. And I feel like I've been on that train. We've been on that train.
Don't even. Yeah. I lived on that train.
Yeah.
You're
like off that train. You got off. Why didn't you tell us you were getting off?
The third time that I've cashed all year.
But why didn't you tell us you were getting off?
Oh, man.
You could have communicated.
I'm like tied up on the trash right now getting run over by the train. Brutal. It smells so good.
It's terrible.
I know they're good for the planet, I'm guessing. I don't know the whole logistics and everything, but they smell so bad. Impossible sandwiches from Starbucks. Thanks to Starbucks for doing it. You're helping animals not die.
It smells like that.
But it smells horrible.
But it tastes amazing.
Yeah, usually things that smell horrible don't taste well, so that's a kind of an anomaly.
You want a big old bite of it? Give it a go?
I mean, I've had them before and I like them,
you?
but the smell now is just, I don't know.
It's in there. Anthony, I'm just making sure you can hear me because I'm in Emporia.
Raise your hands. Who's excited to be in Emporia? Oh, no, I am. I'm changing my attitude. I am. I love this place. Country Club is my favorite golf course in the world. And I usually play pretty well there.
So, did you guys play golf yesterday?
We played Hammond.
We just played Hammond.
Okay. I went and played Jones Supreme.
Is it better?
Ish. Yeah, there's a couple minor changes, but they left plenty unchanged that. Well, whatever. Hey, Chloe, thank you so much, everybody. Cheers.
Chloe!
Chloe!
Yeah.
Chloe! Oh.
Okay, so what? I played it in like at most 9 mile per hour wind yesterday. And it wasn't very windy.
Shut 12 up.
No, but it actually felt like a disc golf course.
Yeah, that's good.
Without the wind.
Yeah, so it was enjoyable. They made a couple changes. Like they didn't fix that one that plays along the graveyard. They didn't fix that pin. You guys have a shorter pin on that one, but we have a pin that's back through the trees, and legitimately 6 inches from the basket is branches.
Oh.
I'm not joking when I say 6 inches from the basket.
Which one are you talking about? You're talking about after you go up the hill?
You play the island,
yeah,
and then you play up the hill, and then you walk around the houses. Yeah, we have one that's tucked in between trees. Like, to me, it's like, just trim away, give us like 10 feet from the basket.
Mm-hmm.
Would be great. Maybe I don't know. Whatever. And then 2 holes after that, it was you were up on that where the pond was, throwing the turnover down. Mm-hmm. You guys have even shorter basket, but I think it's tucked.
Okay.
And and our basket, I think, is similar to. I agree, Robert. And our basket, I think, is your basket. So it's a pretty simple par 4, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that.
Like, what do you mean your basket? We used to have a separate basket.
You guys had a separate basket, but we no longer have a longer basket. You guys have a basket. You guys have a shorter basket. We're playing your old basket.
Oh, okay.
Back to the point. It actually felt fine to play the course. It felt like a decent disc golf course. It felt hard. It felt there was danger enough, but you had to throw the disc well. So that to me was like, okay, cool. So this is a decent course. It was just we played it in really extreme conditions, and that didn't help. Yeah. One other factor is that I really, really hope they go out and make the OB lines super, super visible.
Oh.
Because like you couldn't tell where the
They'll
OB
probably
line
stake
was
them, right?
until you were like
Yeah, it's still early.
you were like 8 feet away from it. Which is yes, I would assume they will.
But knowing the
Official
PGA,
practice-
they're usually kind of last
Yeah.
minute. So
Official practice days start this Friday, so like we're early, you know.
But very
I
fun.
want to spend as much time as possible in Emporia, Kansas.
Yeah, why not?
I love this place.
Yeah, we want to see when we can play country club. But I don't
They
know.
sent out an email about mixed doubles, and they're like, "You have to read this. It has all the details.
I don't understand what day
It
it is.
doesn't have any dates or anything." It's like, all right, cool.
It says this time, gotta be here, do this, do this. What day is it though?
Love it. ECC is open today.
I was wondering
Thanks,
about
Anthony, for the memo.
how that works. Like I
You
couldn't
do have
find
to
any
pay?
information
Yeah. We're early.
Why are we paying for practice
because
routes?
we're early.
So
Yeah.
it just means we're more proactive. We should be rewarded for that.
They should pay us.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh man. So
Has there ever been an event this late here with less winds? Literally, everybody who lives here says August is going to be like hot, but way less winds. on
Emporia
average.
Worlds. The previous Emporia Worlds.
I didn't play that.
I did. And it was not that bad.
Okay.
And that's why I will fight tooth and nail for the fact that DDO should never be in the spring.
No, it's literally always garbage.
It's so
Like,
windy.
Weather delays, so windy,
Yeah. And
cold.
I am totally fine with like before we hit New England, we're just in the Midwest sweating balls.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
what we
fine with that?
Yeah.
but what we did
We're
this
gonna sweat anywhere we go.
I think I'm taking off this 2 months. Next year, I'm just gonna go play B tiers and C tiers in Washington.
Whoa!
Cheers.
Holy cow, dude!
Oh,
Whoa!
I know, Darren.
What? Cheers.
Derek, I'm gonna take these two out to
Sushi.
lunch. We're gonna get Ian involved as well for that.
Chia meats.
Oh,
Thank
wonder
you,
restaurant.
thank you. That is incredible. Oh my gosh!
goodness gracious.
Let's everybody make sure you holler at Derek. That is incredibly generous, and I cannot thank you enough, my friend.
What's Derek's last name?
Freeze.
I don't
feel like
know
I
why I know
recognize
him,
that
but I
name.
know him.
Yeah, that dude's chill.
God damn it.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Hey Derek, I know you.
What's up, Derek?
So yeah, okay. So back to the point. Course felt fun.
Cool. We're gonna play it today, I think.
I think I'll play with you guys. I just have a meeting at.
You weren't actually
did you
invited.
invite-
Wow.
Alright.
All right, cool. I guess I'm gonna be in a hotel room by myself and playing disc golf by myself.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I mean,
It's fine.
these are your choices.
No, I'm fine.
You okay with it?
No, I'm Eric, but I'm also fine.
When's
so-
your meeting?
So, at noon.
Oh, no, let's go after.
Well, at 11, actually.
So back to Des Moines Challenge. I had the privilege of walking over to the 18th green to watch Erika make her final putt, and it was like a 31-foot,
Oh, it's
Yeah,
just inside.
just inside 32 and a
Dang.
0.9-foot, like
Yeah.
windy, stressful putt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I left my upshot short.
Yeah, at one point you did reset. You were like,
Oh man, I took two. So
Yeah,
I always have
yeah.
to take like one big, like, oh my god, you know how to do this.
Yeah.
You know, breathe out, and I did two.
it was
Yeah.
just
That's when I'm
dead
really
center and
nervous.
perfect, and like knowing what she had to do and making that putt, I was really impressed.
Sweet.
Yeah, I haven't done shit all year, so like it was nice to make. I made almost every single putt that I had. The only putts I missed inside the circle were obstructed.
In our round yesterday, him and she was making circle 2 putts. She was making everything.
Yeah,
Pre-world.
it's nice. You just gotta trust yourself. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah, it's hard to do.
I trust myself when I'm still getting triples.
Well, I just have to trust myself, and then apparently I can do it.
Anthony Van and Hewell said we're officially above the cash line this weekend. Let's go. Thanks, Derek.
Oh, you know what sucks? Can I talk about something for Worlds? We're in pools this year, like you
Yeah.
guys are, and I'm not even in the high pool.
She's in the B
I'm in
pool.
it's the D pool.
Oh, the D pool. Oh man.
So
At
we
least
only
it's
have
classy.
77 competitors, but for mostly media purposes and also just like eventually we're going to get more and more women, so they're putting the infrastructure in place now to have pools like the men do. So you're playing 2 rounds and then switching the pools. So that's like a weird place for me to be. That's like an objectively you are not as good
Yeah, ours
as
is at
half
least.
the competitors.
See, when we say it, it's like
Yeah.
be cool, be cool.
Yeah.
But you guys are D cool. There's nothing.
No, there's
cool to
nothing
say.
there. Yeah, there's.
D cool, D
D-pool.
pool, D
Yeah.
cool.
So I'm trying not to let it.
These nuts. Sorry.
No one's gonna say that. Try not to let it get to me, but like, it does not feel good. But I mean, our pool, our entire field is less than one of your pools.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
I just think you should go out there and make them question why you're in the deep pool.
Yeah.
Just be like,
Yeah.
what is Erica doing here?
I-
Why is
they
she
will
beating me like
question.
So at the end of the event, when you go to PDGA,
it's so funny. I'm like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
it always has the pools that you were in.
Mhm.
So if you play well, you go like DCCC,
Right.
and then you'll stay. DCC is probably what it would end up being.
DDCC.
DDC, it's 2, right?
You have to be in
DD.
deep pool for 2 rounds.
But no, but it's because you are always in that pool for the first 2 rounds,
Yeah.
and then when you switch, you get a
Oh,
second
yeah.
letter.
Oh, it's 3 letters.
Yeah, and then
You make
when you
it.
make the finals, you are in the C pool again, but there is no D pool. So like last year, I went A, B, A, and there weren't
Yeah.
many players who went ABA,
Mm-hmm.
which don't advise starting
So
in the A
stressful.
pool and then going down to the B
I
pool
feel like
and then
that's gotta
climbing
be
back
worse.
up into
Yeah.
the A
I
pool.
stayed in the people.
B pool, be cool?
No, it wasn't very cool.
It was not. So yeah, I agree that it's a little crazy, but at the same time, it's
It
not.
doesn't really matter.
The only thing that could matter is
Weather.
the weather.
I know.
What course are you playing?
Right.
Which one might be harder in inclement conditions?
Right.
And like
Or
out
you can get
here, they're
lucky
kind
either
of the
way,
same.
and they're both like pretty close. So like if one has weather, the other will probably.
But which one will be harder?
And
Which
I
one
don't
which
know.
one has bigger swings
It
as
could
strokes?
go the
I would
other way,
imagine
too,
Country
yeah.
Club
You think so?
probably does.
I feel like I don't know. I think Jones is hard, just so hard.
I'm
us.
really excited for you guys to see the changes because I do think it plays a lot better. But God, man, I can't get over the fact of like, oh, this course feels very simple and actually was fun because it was a normal, moderate amount of wind, and that level of wind is normal. Like, I guess I want to ask the chat a little bit. It's like for those who watched DDO, especially the windy days, like what did you guys enjoy that? Seeing like players just kind of super struggle, because for us, and then I will love to hear your responses. Please type it out. But for us, it was miserable to play in. It was miserable to watch our teammates. Yo, Texas Ty, thank you so much. That's tip of the cup to the channel.
Oh,
Aw.
thank you. I got an 11 last year on hole 15, I think.
You
No,
mean
A
earlier
what
this
club?
year?
What?
Wait,
Oh,
where?
it's Jones.
A Jones.
What's the one that you have to like throw over the road and it's like super long? You have to throw up to the flagpole and throw over the road.
Oh, no, that one.
Yeah,
15?
there used to be one,
It's
right?
15, yeah.
I
No,
got
it's
an
not
11.
number one.
Last year.
It was no.
Didn't you join the club of double digits?
First time ever. Yep.
Cheers to Eric.
Sean. Nope. Throwing players into a shit show and expecting success isn't good entertainment. See, agreed. So for us, I didn't like playing in it, and I didn't like watching my fellow competitors, friends, family, just get dicked, like straight up crunched the entire time, and it got to the point.
You're like nervous for people's 18-footers.
Yeah.
That's so hard.
Yeah, and it got to the point where we started to see stuff happen that was completely out of the player's control. So I think I talked about this on Morning Coffee before, but it was so crazy to play Champions Cup in the woods
So fun.
with very little wind, and it felt like if you yourself threw the disc well,
Yeah.
you were rewarded for that
Totally.
fact.
Everyone loves that course.
But when we came to DDO, it quickly changed from it doesn't matter how well you throw. And when I say this isn't to take away from the players that did manage the wind and played well, but people were making comments of, yeah, like the players just need to play smarter. it's like we were trying. We were throwing our most overstable stuff, and we still couldn't grasp what was going to happen to the disc. And so there's this level of understanding. So it was really nice yesterday to see the course and see it as a normal thing. There's a difference between a challenging course, Champions Cup / Idlewild, due to the difficulty, but when you get a questionable layout and 40+ mile an hour winds, thank you, Dan, I agree. The OBs were a little much, but the layout was kind of cool, right on. How courses rule. Great seeing you guys. Seeing pros struggle isn't great, but it can also make you seem more relatable to an average player who doesn't, all right, have the mastery. That's really, that makes sense. The massive wind forcing
really
people to
relatable now,
crazy overstable discs, the wide open 12,000-foot hole, and expecting 450-foot power to win a tournament. Only the highest power succeeds in those conditions. It's a good point.
If struggling
Sounds
makes
like
you more relatable, I am the most relatable player on tour right
Shut up, Robert. Shut up, Robert.
now. Who's Robert?
Robert McCall.
Oh, hi, Robert.
Bert McCall.
Bert.
Hey, Bert.
Yeah.
Bert. Yeah.
So yeah, those are some really good comments, because I know that there is a level that, seeing us do and make mistakes is definitely helps, and it gets to the point where we have to figure out what we want for our sport. Is that something that we want to see, where we have wind limits? But my standpoint is we have to restructure the tour, and I believe the Disc Golf Pro Tour is working at that.
Yeah, I don't think there should be I mean, maybe if you get to 50, you know what I mean? Like we played in 40. I don't know.
Yeah, it was 40 plus.
But yeah, we're just set up to experience high winds right now.
Mm-hmm.
And there are ways to do it. Like, why aren't we in Florida to start? Like, they're doing the off season in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we could just start there.
Yep.
Or why don't we start in California, where it's beautiful
We're
most
starting
of the
Texas
time?
now, where it's just windy and rainy.
Yeah, right.
Horrible, yeah.
Like, we could do it better.
Yeah, and
Sure.
I
We've been driving so much this year.
I've driven 5,000 more miles so far this year than last year.
I believe it.
Because they added multiple events.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
here's another thought, and this is something that I think really would help disc golf, is we extend the season. We start earlier and end later, simply because to create more gaps in between events.
I think we de-incentivize Silver Series, so we don't have to play those at all,
Mm-hmm.
and then try to make it so we have more.
Well, then what's the point
Yeah.
of Silver
And
Series?
also the point to adding these the off weeks is for travel and for recovery, because if you talk about players, this is a prime example of Des Moines had a lot of players who played basically almost 2 rounds in a day, and that we started getting into this point where in baseball and a lot of other sports, they're tracking your movement, your strain, your throw count, your everything, to make sure that you can properly recover. And in that, players will be forced to take time off based on those facts. But we don't have anything like that. So we are creating injuries. We're doing a lot of stuff that could do a lot of damage.
Like 17 to 20 tournaments a year,
Mm-hmm.
and that's low. And I feel like that should be just fine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's with more off weeks than most people. And if I skip the 2 Silver Series I play and I'm signed up for a third that I don't want to play, that's like 3 more off weeks that would have been in between other tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think
Recovery.
I don't think we need it to be longer. It's fucking long.
I
Are we allowed
agree.
to curse?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
This is PG-13.
But I don't. It just 8 months is such a long sports season. You know what I mean? Like, and now they're doing this off season in Florida. That's like, yeah, come play more when you're supposed to be resting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which you don't. Again, there's Silver Series. So
I'm so far away from Florida.
Yeah,
It
right.
sucks.
We spent all of 1 month
Why?
on the West Coast this year, right?
yeah.
I'm gonna live with Eric this offseason.
Like, how many chances did you have to go home this year?
1, because
Me
I was
too.
in Oregon. Yeah.
Injury rate is pretty high in the 17 years of playing. Yes, I
Half the
agree,
injuries are
Sean.
fake. Sorry. I shouldn't say that.
No, but think about like someone like Kristen Tatar who
More
actually took
recovery
care
time.
of it and
Yeah.
is now like
Eagle.
thriving. Eagle too. You don't see a lot of people either able to do that because
Yeah.
having healthcare while you travel is hard, and a lot of
And
people
or
don't make a
having
lot
the
of money.
financials to be able to take an event on.
And if you're in a
Or the
different
health insurance.
state, like you
Yeah.
cannot find consistent care if you're traveling. So like
This is a whole other conversation
I know.
about, hey,
it's so crazy.
fix the healthcare system in America, please.
I'm just saying it's very hard to like.
Yeah.
We need to be able to recover so we don't get injured.
True.
T. Stiegel, he brings up the fact that Wynn does present its own challenge, unique challenge, but Northwood Black has its own uniqueness to it. But is it? Yeah. So I think that's the part of it is you need to design courses. If you're in Emporia, Kansas, I feel like part of what you need to do is I remember you, Thomas. Yeah, appreciate you being here. Is if you are in a place that does have a lot of wind, you can't create certain types of holes. And I'm going to use this as an example, and this is no knock on McCabe or anything he's done. I've played a lot of his courses, and they are very good. But hole 1 at Jones Supreme is quite possibly one of the most lackluster holes, especially when it gets windy, because it's probably fine on a very calm day. Most players will run the island, give it a good shot, should be fine. But the moment the wind starts to creep into the double digits, it becomes a hole that's like, why? Why would I do this? You're going to see a lot of players who just go,
Throw it.
and then walk up to their next
like
one,
50 feet.
and then they take a 3, they move to the next hole, and then they start playing golf.
I do like the changes that they made to hole 1.
Which were adding the rocks in the back.
And then move the drop zone just outside circle 1. So if you do go out of bounds, you have a very good
that's better.
chance.
It is different. Yeah,
It's better.
Yeah. So,
But the hole itself, the design, it's downhill. Even the layup can roll.
yeah,
It's just not what you want to start a world championship round
Yeah,
on.
I've seen. I think Paige Pierce laid up and then missed her second shot,
Yeah.
and it still had to go from the drop zone. It's like it's not even incentivizing the really boring layup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I think that's a part of it of like that
Those are
when
good changes though.
when conditions happen,
Yeah.
and if they happen often in the place you're playing, is like you have to think. I think you need to factor that into the course and play when you design a course in the woods. You kind of can get away with more stuff like that because you have a barrier.
You're limited.
Well, and also you have a barrier to protect you from conditions. You're like, look at is it hole 8 at Northwood Black?
Okay.
The one
downhill?
crazy downhill with
Yeah.
the wall behind it and everything. It's like that hole is
Beautiful.
insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But what if it was crazy windy?
Right.
It'd be impossible.
Impossible.
It'd be absolutely impossible.
Yeah.
If you had 15, 25-mile-an-hour winds ripping through the woods,
It was just like straight from the cornfield, just coming right
through it, just ripping discs apart. So that's something that I think is something that you should be thought about when designing courses.
Yeah.
Now, it's difficult out here because it's just open air. Like you're not like Eric doesn't have a course that is like he could create a track like Northwood in Emporia. There is no wooded features like that.
I
out
mean,
here.
yeah, hole 9 at Country Club is as good as it gets, right?
Yeah,
Like, they had to like cut way into the woods.
And
to
that
make
hole is
happen.
pretty sick as a wooded hole gets, and they're like, "Yep, we have a wooded hole."
Yeah, that's all we have.
One.
I have an idea. So I think wind play, like your ability to play in the wind, should be a skill,
Mhm.
and you should be rewarded for that skill. So certain players who play better in certain conditions should be rewarded.
Mhm.
Just like in golf, some players are better at like link style versus traditional style, or whatever you call it. So I think we can't like just not have tournaments in the wind. You know?
Yeah.
I think there should be a certain amount of wind.
Yeah. But
Like
also
when
players who are really good in the wind, like who grew up in Texas and stuff like that, who are used
Yeah.
to it, they have that spin putt, they know how to read it.
They know how to play it.
They
Yeah.
should, because not every tournament is a windy tournament.
Sure.
You know?
Yo, Reese, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Let's Stone Ace Fund for Erika Stinkum, for Aces, and Ace for these two. Oh, let's go Let's Stone Aces.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not one of them.
I haven't gotten
Yeah,
one
that's cool.
penny from aces from my 2 aces in tournaments.
Yeah, I know it sucks.
So I agree. I
Yeah.
think that there is a level of wind that deems too much.
Yeah.
Where round 3 DDO too much.
Too much.
Way
What do
too
you think
much.
that-
I got an 11. Yeah.
What do you think that number is?
I think
25.
I think it's 25 plus. If sustained wins. Sustained wins.
Yeah.
We can have gusts over 25
Mhm.
because the sustained might be 15 with gusts into 30.
Yeah.
Like that's totally
I think that's
understandable, but
what you just sustain 15 with gusts into 30 is like I think the most like fair highest level where like you can still control your stuff.
yeah,
Like,
And
gives you a
you
chance
You're
even
gonna
get to
set.
sustain 20 and you're like,
this is starting to feel really dumb.
Yeah.
Like,
Because-
why am I out here?
If it's gusty, you can reset within your 30 seconds
Yeah.
and throw without. Yeah.
Sure.
But players like Emerson Keith and Maria Oliva should be rewarded for their ability
Totally.
to play a limit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They grew up. They were molded by it,
forged.
forged by the wind.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with that. It definitely helps. How do we feel about the 2021 Worlds courses?
Oh
Mulligan's
my god, what even happened? Oh,
was the worst course I've ever played. That was right. That was Utah. Mulligan's is my least favorite course of all time.
Yep.
Did not enjoy it. It was not fair. It was dumb. It was at Toad's Fun Zone.
yeah.
It
I
was just
didn't
embarrassing for me to
Yeah.
be there.
It's
Like
With
it.
go-karts going around.
didn't like it?
I didn't like it, but I didn't hate it. I think as
We're
much
playing
as
a
other
world
people.
championship.
No,
We
I
have
get it.
go-karts and
I
people
do.
driving on the driving range. It's
People,
just like,
people driving on the
during the
driving
practice
range.
rounds, we have people hitting balls
Yeah.
at us. It's
Well,
like, it was
remember
ridiculous.
Brody Smith had to buy out the warm up.
Oh, yeah.
Day, day one.
Yeah.
But the fort was pretty good. I think that was just a couple of trees away from being really good. You know
So-
what I
The
mean?
amount of work, that went into the fort was
Yeah.
incredible. It
Yes.
was a beautiful place, and they turned something that was not so like great into something that looked great.
yes,
There was like
Yeah.
two
looks great. Being
key,
a
Yes.
key thing
Looked-
there.
2 to
Great.
3 keyholes where like you hit the line and you'd still hit a tree. You're like,
Yeah.
well, that's the tree that's in the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it was close.
How
Massive
many
respect
how
for
many
the-
short pads did you guys?
I'm
end up
trying
playing?
to think.
Because here's
I-
I went back to the fort recently when I was in Utah.
Mhm.
I went and played it, and I was like, I am gonna try and see this course differently.
Mhm.
And the main issue is the course was designed for the short pads.
Oh, okay.
It was originally made.
Okay.
Here's our tee pad.
Yeah.
This is how the hole plays.
Yeah. Which is, to be fair, think about this. That's every other course for us.
Sure.
It's designed for the long pads, and they're like, here you go. Here's a little shorty.
Yeah.
Like,
So you guys feel this
Yeah.
is that became a big issue that
Yeah.
the short pad was the
right.
intended line for
Yeah,
the
I
hole.
get it.
But they basically said, yeah, we'll just take the tee pad back like 125 feet.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but now the shape
But now
doesn't
the shape
actually
doesn't work. Okay.
doesn't make sense.
Oh, you don't have to tell me.
I know. So that
All
when
year
you
for
do
us.
that for courses, that is when it becomes a problem. And again, the crew that worked on the course,
Incredible.
it's definitely in the realm of probably the top 10 to top 5 aesthetic courses that I've ever played.
Yeah.
Really cool features. You can understand that the work is there. It looks good. It has some enjoyable shots, but it runs into that issue that the course design was just asking too much for the designer at the end of the day. So, and that's something that I genuinely think the women need more courses like a sunset, where the
Also,
course
it's
is
designed for women.
it is your course.
To be fair, they are getting better and better at
Yeah.
designing like different tee
Yeah.
pads. But even at Des Moines, there was 3 that are like, this does not make any sense for us. Like
Sure.
this is dumb. This is a tweener. You know,
Yeah.
like hole 7 for us is the most boring thing in the world. You
Yeah.
know, stuff like that. But it is getting better. But there's also like no women's input
Uh-huh.
on it. So like that's frustrating.
Or
And, like, for you-
it's not no women's input on it,
Yeah.
or it's only specific women's input on it, rather than having a collective of women
I would still argue
that have different.
that overall
viewpoints.
no women's input. And then but like so for Worlds for the fort, like wouldn't it be nice if like you had some players or like we have that new like council of
Players committee. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like wouldn't it be nice if you looked at it and then like got to say all these things beforehand? Like,
Input's important.
Josh Crow, that's a good point. He mentions that imagine professional golfers hitting shots into the sand where the ball sticks right next to the pin, it's kind of the equivalence to greens. He wants them to be faster. He wants our greens to be a little bit more difficult and or faster, and I can believe that.
Also, back to mulligans. Speaking of sand traps, remember that one basket, like 17 or 16, that was in the middle
Of two of them.
two huge sand traps. It
Yeah.
was windy, and you're just put back and forth. OB. It was horrible. At least I was. I don't know if anyone else was, but I definitely was.
Well, what effect does FPO only course have on gallery sizes? I've never been to Sunset. How is the gallery?
Sunset's honestly like great.
But how was
Usually
the gallery out
as
there?
big as it ever gets?
Looks awesome.
Honestly, probably better there than Northwoods where we finished because it's a little bit more open.
Tight, yeah.
Yeah, it's totally fine. I think logistics matters, and Ledgestone's one of the hardest because the courses are like 40 minutes. Eureka and Sunset are like 40 minutes apart, I think.
Fun.
So, the men are going to draw more. But, yeah, I think we do need a little bit more of that where we have like one shared course and then one, male-specific, female-specific course.
Mm-hmm. Dale, I haven't thrown my coalesce yet. I have not gotten mine yet. I'm hoping to reach out to Paul and Aaron here this week and get some stuff sent out or pick them up whenever I go up to Vermont. So how do we feel? I mean, this is different for you, but for us, how do we feel about Northwood Black, hole 12?
Oh, I think it's a great hole for us. You guys can talk about it.
I've seen your tee pad, and that was something that we had talked about. Is like you could make everybody play that same tee pad, and it would be one of the better par fours we play on tour. Really hard. Threes are rewarded. You're going to see fives. You might even see sixes, but you're going to see fours are going to be a good score. Threes are going to be an incredible score, and it feels
Well, you guys
better.
probably could three it, whereas we kind of can't.
No, it's
what I mean. So it's a great par five for us.
Yes,
and it's strategic, and everybody in the field can get it, but very few do.
Mm-hmm.
But for you guys, just to get to our tee pad, you have to throw one of the best shots of your life. It seems like
it's
3 perfect shots to get a birdie on that.
Yeah.
It's
almost
too
beyond perfect, right?
Yeah.
Like,
look at AB's shot. Remember AB's shot on Northwoods?
Mm-hmm.
Hole 12.
Took a 5.
Absolutely beautifully took a 5.
Yep. He was in the best position and still took a 5 because there's the way I've put it is what it's asking for you off the tee is just as difficult as what it's asking of you every inch of the way.
mm-hmm.
And there should be release points, and then if the middle was really easy to land into the next shot, but then the final shot was hard.
Yeah.
So you tee shot's hard, middle shot's pretty simple, and then last part's hard.
Yeah.
I can live with that being a par 5 is because you have a little bit of breathing. You have to throw a decent shot now. But my fix for that would be there's 2 or 3 trees, big trees, and that's the problem is they're big. Off the tee where we are now that could go. And then more people would be accessing the first landing zone, and you would see the scores probably drop only about a half a stroke if you made the tee shot easier because of how difficult the second half of the hole is.
I've been talking to the Statmando guys, and I'm pretty sure I saw on their thread that the hole 12 plays is the hardest hole on tour.
Yeah.
Like by far.
Yeah, it's without a doubt.
Statistically.
Oh yeah, Gigi actually threw it so perfectly. Yeah, Ace Run, can't wait to see you guys. You guys know Ace Run Pro, right?
Oh, yeah.
Not a ton.
The film crew?
I mean, yeah, I know. I don't like they.
You don't know them?
Not very
You should
well.
meet them.
Wow,
How
I really
dare you?
Okay.
You should
guys.
meet them.
Yeah. Okay. I'm Erika.
I can't believe.
All right, we'll talk about that later, I guess. Morning, Chandler from Mark Hill.
Hey, Mark. Good to see you, or hear you, or see your text. I don't know.
Josh Crow. It pretty much is a par 6 for us. Like taking a 6 doesn't really count as a bogey, but taking a 10 definitely feels bad.
Do you think we will ever see a par 6 in our sport?
We have one.
What?
Skellefteå.
Oh, I didn't know.
Skellefteå in Sweden has a par 6 that has been played in a tournament.
Wow.
And it has been albatrossed.
I did not know that.
Music City Open, Ravenwood, wasn't there a par 6? No.
Mm-mm.
Was that par 5?
It was just
like 1,500
It
feet.
was
Cool.
like 1,500 feet.
So it was a par 6, but it was,
Yeah. So we have about 15 more minutes until the Nate Sexton Is That Good is premiering. And then we're gonna probably go. They're probably gonna go play disc golf that I might be invited to. I don't know. I haven't received my invite yet.
I guess if you're buying us lunch.
No, Derek is buying us
If
lunch.
Derek is buying us lunch.
Is the
So-
Sexton episode just about Firebirds, or is it Fireflies and Excaliburs as well?
Just the Firebird.
Okay.
He did bust out the Firefly, but it was he didn't make the putt. Spoiler. But he was like under the branches in a tree. So like
I've seen Nate make some incredible putts with that Firebird. I'd say it's good.
Sexton is
Incredible.
like when you watch him play, I don't think he does outside of some of the forehands he throws. It's like you see him throw backhands, you see him throw putts. You're not like, wow, this guy is incredible. But he takes like the consistency to a whole nother level. Like he's never really in the rough.
No.
He's never really like he's always giving himself like maybe a circle 2 look for a birdie or something like that. He's always in a scoring position because I think he's fully understood his skill set. He understands his distance. He understands the places he wants to be and the places he doesn't want to be better than anybody.
At Masters Cup Skins
Yeah,
was like the best thing I've ever seen.
Yes,
like
so
you see,
true.
like he has the skills to be reckless and do
but he does
amazing stuff, and
Yeah.
he chooses to be really consistent and
Yeah.
like I don't want to say boring, but you know what I mean. Like
Say
Boring wins majors though.
he's not trying to like do those fireworks of like throwing in for
Throwing that
I-5,
Mako 3,
you know?
yeah.
So
Also,
I love seeing that.
one
side
thing
of
about
it.
sure.
Nate that's unbelievable is so he has the longest active cashing streak
Mhm.
currently.
Mhm.
Because
Kale lost
Kale
his,
lost.
and going into Ledgestone in the last 2 months before Ledgestone, guess how many rounds he played? Or last month before Ledgestone.
Tournament rounds he didn't play many.
He didn't play any. Guess how many practice rounds he played?
How many?
4.
What was he just doing?
He's moving into a new house. He's dealing with a lot of stuff right now, but he's still cashed. And he's playing against the best young players in the world. And this guy's 36.
Yeah, he's
And
pretty
he's
good.
still cashing.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable.
Pretty nuts.
Cheers, Nate.
Nate is legit. Hats off to him. So yeah, you guys should all stick around for that here. That's now 13 minutes out.
So excited.
Yeah,
I want to watch it so many times.
so many times.
So
Thank you. I
many times.
appreciate that. That's gonna be
It's
help the
gonna
channel.
absorb it.
100 views.
Speaking of, we have Jeremy Coling Boss and Thunderbird videos on the way. James Proctor Max. I'm going to be filming Erika Stinkum Sword this week, along with. I plan on reaching out. I'm doing a Chris Dickerson Buzz. I plan on reaching out to James Conrad to maybe do a Terra or Envy or something that he wants to do for his Is That Good? And I think I'm also going to try and reach out to Missy Gannon and do a Thrasher review. Which was supposed to be, I think, the second Is That Good I did, but the mics didn't work. So like it started. I was like, "Hey, I'm Eric Oakley of Infinite Discs. Like, Is That Good? This is Missy Gannon." It was horrifying.
Yeah.
It was like I really wanted to do like a dub over it, but it was.
You should have dubbed it. Yeah, your voice. I'm Missy Gannon.
I look at the Rusher, so sick, so good, bestest
You should
time
maybe
ever.
go back.
Well, I think we might still have the footage, but yeah. So there was that, and that sucked. So I'm definitely gonna try. I might even push for one other, but it is Worlds Week, so I don't want to take too much. But this is the perfect week because it's ahead of time.
Yeah.
Ace Run, let's go!
Ace Run.
Here's $10 that Erika will remember us by.
Oh.
Can't wait to meet you more officially.
Yeah,
Also,
You-
check
you-
out the
you
Chandler
like it?
Fry Surge. Is That Good?
it's very good.
Plug.
Don't ruin it for him.
Oh.
They probably already watched it.
Yeah.
Don't ruin
Hey,
it.
do you still have that search for
Do
me? Do you have my search?
I have a Surge.
Er,
Do you have my
I
search?
already gave you Surges.
Are you
I
ever
have
gonna
one.
do
Do you
one?
have my search though?
The entitlement is
And
so
just
real.
finish
this
with
guy.
like it really wasn't good, and that's like the end of the
there's-
video.
There's I've thought about doing that with somebody at one point.
Yeah.
Is just trolling them just to have the
Yeah,
video,
like the
not
whole
good.
time too, just like
and just
it
and
feels
just
bad.
and just like taking it
Oh
and
my
just like
God.
late releasing it
Yeah.
and be like, God, I just can't throw this disc. Like
something
I don't know,
about it.
and then just like rip it into the first available tree or something like that. Just like Like,
Not
what
to be-
is wrong
Okay,
with
sure,
this?
that's
Yeah.
He'd love it.
Oh my
Or
god.
Melton or something.
Or just throw and like
Oh,
just turf
do-
it and
yeah.
just oh my god,
Do
throw
that.
it nose up. Like yeah, that would be very funny.
By the way, I want to do a tree smack episode or whatever with H.
oh my god,
Oh,
yeah,
that's such a good
Can I do that with you guys?
setup, or like you know what I mean, like a
running thing.
yeah. It's a good format, I guess.
It's such a
yeah,
good format.
Yeah.
I've reached my my tree quota for the month, so I'm
Tweet
not getting any
quota.
more trees this.
Hey, good thing we're in a place where there's not many
Wide
trees.
open.
I'm
This
still
is
gonna
not.
find it. I'm
This
still
isn't
gonna
the
find
week
it.
to do it.
Still gonna find them.
They'd love to have you. We are down for it. It was so fun that round we played at Jackson.
When
I don't know
Zach
if-
get that stump on the ground, that was incredible.
it's so good.
Incredible.
So good. Somebody said some words. Juliana Corver Roadrunner. I could do that.
You should do a desert
How
riding
close
event.
is the Lucid X Trespass to the VIP X swords?
I haven't thrown a Lucid X Trespass. Yeah, Trespass. I think I've.
The sword
No,
is
I
crazy
haven't.
good. The sword is crazy
For me,
good.
I've always thought that the Trespass is like a hint more stability.
Mhm.
Just a hint. Like I can get the sword to turn a little bit more, and it'll come back. But I could never get my Trespass. And it depends the plastic and how long you've had it and everything. But I don't know. The sword is just super workable, and the VIPX for me is like a win disc.
Mhm.
But for someone who can throw over 400, it's gonna be that like super great, little bit of flip, a
Yeah.
good amount of finish, like super workable. I think that the Trespass is almost the same disc, but like
There's-
subtle differences. How do you
there's-
feel about them?
There's a level of the two discs that like when you put it in the X plastic, it's like it feels like a new disc.
Yeah,
but-
that's definitely true.
But shortly after that phase, like you have some that you're getting turned out of some of your hybrid X swords and stuff like that. You're getting
Not
like
the VIPX.
hybrid X.
Sure, and
Your-
tournament
your-
X too.
This is a foreign language to me.
Friendship
I have no idea what's going on
So
right now.
you start to see that it gets its natural tendencies down the line.
Right.
And I don't I think the sword feels better
I agree.
than the Trespass. The Trespass to me feels similar to how what is the disc?
Suspect.
No, it's an Innova disc,
Oh.
not
Judge.
it's one of their
Leopard.
flippy ones.
Leopard.
No,
Not
faster.
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie.
Not a Valkyrie, faster.
Mystere.
Beast.
Savant.
Faster.
My help.
12 speed
Foxbat.
turn.
Oh.
Turn.
Not
Feels like a
Foxbat?
turn and it feels really shallow. The Trespass is a little deeper than that, and I think the sword is deeper than the Trespass. So for me, I feel like I can really get my hand in there and have a good solid grip on it. Where the Trespass, I always put it on my hand. I was just like, I think this is going to come out this way, like just out of my hand early because I couldn't get my fat stubby fingers around. I do.
I know.
My thumb is as long as my
Have
Rest of my
do you
fingers-
guys hold on? I just learned something that blew my mind. Do you know how small the Manduhano sisters' hands are?
no.
They're like children's hands. I was talking
Is
to
it
Valerie.
is it like Call Me Chris?
Oh
with,
my
like,
god, it's so
ugh.
bad. So like I was talking to Valerie and we were talking about like, this just doesn't feel like comfortable. I was talking about like I wish I could throw a fuse, but it doesn't feel quite right in my hand. And she's like, it doesn't really matter how it feels for me. I just need to know how it flies. And then I was like, okay. And she's like, my hands are really small and like 13 speed dish, she can't even get it. And like literally her fingers like came up,
Aw.
to like there, like my just past that knuckle. And I was like, what is happening? How do you hold the frisbee?
And they're good too.
Paige probably has pretty small hands too, right?
Yeah, I don't know how she rips on ballistic throws.
Yeah. You love to see it.
Sorry, so super tangent, but I was like, how are you so good with those?
Erika had so much joy in her voice when they had small hands.
Oh my god, I just unbelievable. I was like,
Mark Hill, I agree. The hybrid Trespasses. Are really
oh
good.
right.
They're very good. So, yeah, I think
The hybrid
think-
Trespasses were more stable than my hybrid swords, like without a doubt.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting how different runs come out.
Yeah, I think I've thrown your sword that few times at the preserve, and I was very, very impressed. It handles power, and I think that's partially the X plastic because I have thrown a normal sword, and I was like, this is like probably
you
would
throw
be
too
a
far
roller.
for a normal sword.
Yeah, but is really good for it's to me the Trespass the sword those types of discs land in that realm of like, this is what most people should be throwing. If you're like, I'm a destroyer guy, it's like, you're probably not a destroyer guy.
Yeah,
You probably should be throwing a sword or a
Yeah,
chest pass.
that's what I say. It's the world's friendliest destroyer.
Yeah. Where have you thrown? I mean, watching Paige throw the Surge SS looks crazy. How different is that
it's
from?
too flippy for me.
Yeah.
It has to.
It's like, but it's probably
It's
good
almost
for.
too flippy for
It's
her.
probably great for
Most-
lower arm speeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where like yours didn't feel.
Mine
Like-
has stability. Yeah.
It does, but yours didn't feel wildly overstable like most destroyers would or anything.
No.
No,
Yours,
it's
like-
just a straight disc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like
super
that's
workable.
kind of the cool part of like people should be exploring not these, I guess we'll call them prolific discs.
Yeah.
Like most talked about, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Guess what? You probably shouldn't be throwing a nuke. You probably shouldn't be throwing a destroyer. You probably shouldn't be throwing a lot of discs that you're currently throwing. But the people that you bought to support those players is really cool. So thank you for doing that. But also, if you're trying to improve your game, definitely look into some of the less stable, more neutral discs, because those will help you graduate to being able to throw those discs eventually. But if you jump too far, you're kind of out of luck.
I'm gonna push for a Surge OS next year.
It'd be sick.
Ooh,
Nice
I
overstable
like that.
wind fighter. It's like kind of borderline to a machete.
Less
Mm-mm.
overstated.
Less like crazy.
Probably
overstable.
more just like a Raptor or something. Like
But I got
A longer,
11
a
speed
longer
Raptor
Raptor.
would be sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Surge OS sounds good too.
Yeah, it does. Sergio's.
Sergio's.
Uh,
I miss Lieutenant
Wow.
Surge.
You lost him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
At
North
that 14,
yeah, 15.
15.
I've
Was
lost
I there?
Maybe I don't know.
I thought you were there.
Oh, I was
You were
there.
there.
I've lost a lot of go-tos.
That
in the
didn't
last
come
2
back?
weeks.
No.
No.
So,
Never
dude,
came back.
hey, here's something that I genuinely think is a real thing, is restructuring your bag.
Yeah.
We get to a point where we get so comfortable with the discs in our bag where we don't like just dump the discs out and go throw a bunch of new stuff.
Yeah.
Because we're so like I'm so
Yeah.
safe, I feel comfortable. But breaking out of that, because
Mhm.
some discs are now asking too much of us
Mhm. Yeah.
in the moments, because you're like, yeah, it can do this thing, but if I hit it a little too hard, it's gotten a little too beat up, and now it might turn and cost you strokes. But there, you still have that moment of, but it was, but it was.
It was so
we
good.
were getting
I
that
talked about
back.
this in my Mental Health Monday video yesterday, and my main example is my Pink Force that I've been throwing for a year and a half. It's a fantastic disc, but now it's getting too flippy on me, and I'm still relying on it for those like long hyzers.
Yeah.
And if you watch the Jomez round 2 from Des Moines, you can see what happened. It flipped over,
Mm,
and I still tried to throw it throughout the round, and it kept flipping over. So
yeah.
I'm definitely gonna recycle some new discs
Do
in
you-
my bag.
I mean, I
This
try
is the
to.
perfect week to do it
Oh, yeah.
too.
I got a lot of time.
Do you
to-
ever
Yeah.
just like work a backup in of the exact same disc, like in practice?
Yeah, but with that Pink Force, they're hard to find.
They're old.
Yeah,
They're like
Yeah,
old.
their money, and like some people they've stockpiled them and they're not
Right.
giving them.
It's
out.
probably
Yeah.
it's probably one of the best Discraft discs
I'll
runs
100% agree with that.
ever.
And it's
It's like-
lasted 2 years. For me.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's the crazy part. I remember Austin Turner got a couple from Germ,
Mhm.
and
That's why I got mine.
he
Yeah.
beat the crap out of it, and it still flew amazing. It was like, whatever reason, the shape, the plastic, everything worked out. It was
Yeah.
just really cool. So
Like that Pink Force is still going to stay in my bag, but for a
different
different shot
reason.
selection.
Yeah.
totally, it's gonna
Hamas
be really
has
good.
3 of those exact same discs in his bag, all different levels of wear, and they're
Mhm.
all amazing.
Well, everyone, I'm gonna.
Is that good?
We are a couple minutes. We're 2 minutes out from the less than 2 minutes out from the Is That Good.
2 minutes.
This has been so much fun that we should end it. Yeah.
So we should stop.
You want
just
to play
do
disc golf
these?
with us today?
You just do these
I
by
do.
yourself, Eric.
What do you mean?
Morning coffee.
Where's Tina?
Have you
Okay.
been doing them with people? Or you just
No, we've done some.
Where's TT?
Tina is flying to Cancun right now.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Check that link. Let's see if that. Nope, I don't want to leave this. I wanna go new tab. What does that take us to? Creator Studio. Something went wrong. Does that link work for everybody or no? Probably not. Crap. Set to premiere. Yeah. That probably didn't work. I don't know how to premiere this.
It's gonna premiere either way, right?
Yeah. 10:30 a.m. for today. Well, whatever. Oh, it's working there? Sweet. Link works.
Yeah.
Sweet. Good. Nice, everybody. Well, everybody head on over there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Next Tuesday will be another morning coffee. We'll have some guests. Maybe they'll come back and we'll talk about our preparation for Worlds. Also, mixed doubles. We'll probably be able to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
You guys are teammates.
Team last place cash.
Yeah, last cash 2 years in a row.
Last 2 times we've gotten last
$14.
place.
I'm
We've gotten
teaming up.
$25 in the last 2 years.
That's winning. That's winning.
It's not.
Who are you
I see
partnered
it.
with?
Raven Klein.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Guys, go check out her reels. They're pretty incredible. So,
We're going down.
all right, everybody be awesome. Head over to that Nate Sexton Is That Good. Stay awesome, be good. Thank you, Erika. Thank you, Chandler.
Thank you
For the
Derek.
Starbucks. Thank you, Derek.
Derek,
Thank you,
Case Ryan.
Reese. Thank you, Chloe. Everybody who donated. You're amazing. Be awesome. Stay good.